Hey guys, welcome back to the class. In this class, we are going to discuss about memory. So in the previous video, we discussed central processing unit where there is a memory unit and that consists of a register and cache. So the memory unit is generally a storage space where the data that is to be processed and the instruction that is needed for processing those data are stored. And here, along with the cache and register, the memory is again classified into primary memory and secondary memory. Starting with the register. So register is the smallest memory in computer and it is it is used to hold the frequently used data and memory addresses temporarily. We can say the register is the fastest memory in computer. And coming to cache, here the cache is also a temporary memory and this is also used to store the frequently used instructions and data, and this can be used for quicker processing, and this cache lies between the main memory and processor. So when we say cache, here cache again is categorized into three types, that is L1 cache, L2 cache and L3 cache. So this is level 1, level 2 and level 3. So this L1 is present inside the CPU, and when we take L2, that is level 2 cache, so it may either inside the CPU or it may present outside the CPU. And coming to level 3 cache. So here level 3 cache is actually outside the CPU, and this level 3 cache can be used only at the high end processes. So the purpose of this L3 cache is actually to enhance the performance of this L1 and L2 cache. Here you can see the size of these caches, that is for L1 cache the size varies from 2 KB to 64 KB. Whereas for L2 cache, the size varies from 256 KB to 512 KB, and for L3 cache, it is 1 MB to 8 MB. So, though the sizes are in increasing order, here the speed of L1 cache is actually higher than the L2 cache, and the speed of L2 cache is higher than the L3 cache. So, here the level 3 cache, that is L3 cache, is slower than both L1 and L2 cache, and we can say it is faster than RAM. This is about the cache memory. And then coming to primary memory. So here the primary memory is also called as main memory or internal memory, and this memory is actually called as a volatile memory because when there is a power failure, then the data does not exist if it is not saved. So that is why it is called as a volatile memory, and this primary is used for accessing the data much faster. So that is why we are using this primary memory here, and here this primary memory is actually much costlier and smaller compared to the secondary memories. So in primary memory again we have some classifications, like the primary memory is classified into RAM and ROM. Again, this RAM is classified into static RAM and dynamic RAM. This ROM is classified into PROM, EEPROM and EEPROM. So coming to RAM, RAM is generally known as the main memory of computer system, and it is also called as the temporary memory. That is, we can say the information is lost whenever the power is switched off, power supply is switched off, then the information will get lost. So that is why it is called as a temporary memory. And so this RAM is again classified into static RAM and dynamic RAM. So static RAM means it can be used as a cache memory for CPU. And here whenever we are using this cache memory, we cannot able to modify this cache memory. So that is why it is termed as static RAM. And coming to dynamic RAM. So here this dynamic RAM is mostly found as a main memory in the computer, where we can modify the things inside this dynamic RAM. Then coming to ROM. So here ROM means it is called as read-only memory. So it is a permanent type of memory. So RAM is a temporary memory, but when we say ROM, we say it is a permanent type of memory. And whatever the information that is present inside the ROM, so this will not get lost when a power supply is switched off, but it is not the case in RAM. So in RAM, when the power supply is off, then the data does not exist, but here the information will not be lost even though the power supply is switched off. So that is what the ROM here, and that is why we are calling it as permanent type of memory. And the information of ROM is actually decided by the computer manufacturer. So here the computer manufacturer will write the instructions inside the ROM, that is information inside the ROM, and this cannot be overwritten by users. Now the classifications of ROM are PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. So PROM means, so PROM stands for programmable read-only memory. So this is in the form of digital memory, and here the data are permanent and we cannot change the data inside this PROM. And coming to EPROM, so EPROM stands for erasable programmable read-only memory. So in this, it is a type of PROM chip, and this retains its data when the power supply is off. So that is why it is erasable programmable read-only memory. And the next classification is EEPROM, that is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. And this memory is a type of non-volatile memory. So which means even though the power supply is off, the data can be retained in this. And this stores only small amount of data. And here the individual bytes can be erased and reprogrammed. So that is why it is called as electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So where we can able to erase the individual bytes and then we can able to reprogram it. So these are all the two classifications of primary memory. Then the next one is the secondary memory. Coming to secondary memory, it is also called as the external memory, or we can say it as auxiliary storage. So this secondary memory is either built into a computer or it is connected to the computer, and this can be accessed indirectly through input-output operations. And here the secondary memory is used to store the data permanently, and this CPU cannot access the secondary memory directly as I specified. So it can be accessed indirectly through some input-output operations. And here whenever we are using the secondary memory, first the data is transferred to the primary memory, then to the CPU, then the CPU can access it through the primary memory. These are all some of the examples of secondary memory, that is magnetic tape, magnetic disk, flash drive and SSD. So here magnetic tape, it is a serial access storage device, which means we cannot access the information randomly. So it only we can access it in sequential way. So that is what the magnetic tape is. Then coming to magnetic disk, so it is a cheap storage, and with this disk we can access the information randomly. That is there is no need to follow any sequential order here, that is sequential access here. Then coming to flash drive, so this is the fastest memory compared to hard drives, and these flash drive are frequently found in the devices like phones, calculators, USB drives. So in all our phones the flash drive is used for memory. And coming to SSD, so SSD stands for solid state drive, and it is faster than the flash drive. So most of the SSDs uses flash memory. These are all about the categories of memory. Now let us see the processes, that there is a process flow happening inside the computer. So whenever a processor needs to process some data, so first what it will do is it will check for the cache memory, that is in level 1 cache, if that information is present inside the cache. So when the information is available, so it will fetch the information from this L1 cache, then process that information and then produces the output. So if this information is not available in L1 cache, then the CPU will look for L2 cache. And if again the L2 cache doesn't contain that information, then it will look into the L3 cache. So the L3 cache is also doesn't contain that information, then what the CPU will do is it will look into the RAM. Then again, if that RAM is also doesn't contain that particular information, then the CPU will look into the hard disk. So now what happens is, the CPU, that is a processor, will fetch the information from the hard disk, and that too, the information cannot be fetched directly from the hard disk. So what it will do is, the information will first pass into the primary memory, and from that primary memory it will fetch the data. So here we are we are using this cache for performing faster operations. Okay, so whenever the frequently used data will be stored inside this cache, so whenever the frequently used data are inside the cache, then the processor can fetch the data directly from the cache, instead of going into searching in RAM and picking from hard disk. So directly what it will do is, it will fetch the information from the cache and it will use that information here, so that the processing will get, the speed of the processing will get increased. And this is how the memory storage and the processing of data from the memory is happening inside the computer.